Bueno, bienvenida Melanie, estamos aquí en un capítulo más de Hablando de discapacidad. Hoy nos acompaña Melanie Gibbs, fisioterapeuta especialista en niños. Y bueno, bienvenida y gracias por estar aquí con nosotros.
Muchas gracias.
Bueno, me encanta porque Melanie está aprendiendo español y lo hace muy bien, pero todo este video va a ser en inglés con subtítulos. Muchísimas gracias por acompañarnos y nos vemos en Hablando de discapacidad.
My name is Melanie Gibbs and I am a pediatric physiotherapist. And my experience is over 20 years of working with children with disabilities, and a large part of that is working with children to provide them with appropriate assistive technology in all its forms to make life easier and safer for them. So assistive technology is any item that a person uses to make life easier, to make life safer, to improve their ability to participate in home life, community life, school life. The range of assistive technology is huge. It ranges from, for example, a splint on the foot, which is called an AFO or ankle foot orthosis, through to incredibly complex power wheelchairs. There is assistive technology for bathing, mobility, and to support the body. Okay, well, if I start with, for example, a walker. Now, a walker can be as simple as a crutch or a cane, but it can be highly complex in that it can take a child with quite complex cerebral palsy and support them to stand upright and take steps so that this child can, by supporting and steering with their arms, they can walk about the classroom, the school playground, the shopping centre, wherever that might be. The range of support depends on the client and what they need. So some children only need a very small amount of support for balance. Other children need a lot. And it's my job to work with the family to work out which piece of equipment will maximise that child's safety and ability to access the community and their lifestyle. So we look at a child, for example, and my experience is all paediatric, but this goes into adulthood as well, but my bias will be very heavily towards children. If you take a 4-year-old child, by 4, that child should be able to run, jump, hop, skip, climb a climbing frame. They should be able to easily move from sitting either on the floor or on a chair and stand up and move themselves about their environment. For example, their environment might be the kindergarten. They should be able to carry something in their hands. They should be able to go to the easel and pick up a paintbrush and paint without needing to hold on. But unfortunately for many of our children, those what we consider very simple tasks are impossible without support. But we want every 4-year-old child to be able to go to kinder and to go up and paint a painting, or to get themselves onto and off the floor and to, just like everybody, join their friends, go out into the playground with their friends. So how do we help them with that? Some children might need support using special splints on their feet called ankle foot orthoses. What that does is it holds their ankle stable and their foot flat so they can stand. And with those on, their balance is improved, and very often you don't even realise they're wearing them. And that child can now walk well and balance safely and use their equipment in the playground and stand with their peers. Other children might need to use quite a simple walker, and it might be what we call a rear support walker. And that is a walker with 4 wheels, 2 at the front, 2 at the back, and a U-shaped frame that comes in behind them, a bit like this chair is doing to me now. And so they stand in their walker and they hold the handles here and they walk. And this just gives them enough balance and stability that they don't fall over. And the advantages are that they are in control of their own location. Every child wants the choice of whether they go and talk to this person or go to that easel and paint or go over and read a book. And this walker puts them in control of their mobility. It keeps them safe while they're doing it. And we choose to use what we call rear support walkers because there is nothing then in front of the child, no barrier to communication. They walk up and stand face to face with their peers. And that face-to-face contact is incredibly important. If that child is not able to stand with their peers will always be talking down to them, and they will always be looking up. So where possible, if a child can stand with their peers, we try and help them to do so. It's socially appropriate. When we look at assistive technology, we look at all domains of development. We don't just look at gross motor skills. We don't just look at, can this child walk? Can this child stand? We say, can this child stand up with a group of their peers and communicate and develop their social skills in an appropriate manner, age-appropriate manner? And if not, why not? What's the barrier? And if the barrier is that that child can't stand, then it's our job to facilitate that with the right piece of assistive technology. And that's just one example. I think everybody has the right to be independent and to make their own choices. And those rights come right down to the right to choose where you stand or sit, what activity you choose to engage in, where it happens. So wheelchairs, as an example, facilitate access to and participation in activities in the community. It allows a child to get out of the house and go to school or kinder, or these days play sport. You can play wheelchair basketball, you can play wheelchair hockey, you can play murder ball. You can do so much now in specially designed wheelchairs. But the whole idea is that you enable that child to be independent in their mobility. And you want their independence. So we're not talking about just getting up. We want them to be independent like an age-matched peer. So like you take a child of typical development and you compare them and you say, well, a 7-year-old should be able to get themselves in and out of a car. They should be able to go into the school by themselves. They should be able to move from class to class. They should be able to go out into a playground. How can we help them do that? So then we look at all the different types of wheelchair and what sort will maximize their independence and safety. A lot of what we do with assistive technology, it always has the overarching desire to make the person independent and able to participate. But we also look at keeping their body healthy and safe. So children who have difficulty sitting and sitting up straight because of their condition, we make sure that the seating unit on their wheelchair supports them to be upright. It might be that if we give them enough support around the trunk, they can release their arms from holding on, and now their arms are free to drive a wheelchair or to do a painting or to participate in the class, put their hand up, read a book, lean on the desk. So we always look at the seating unit as a separate part, but an important part of the wheelchair in terms of maximising their independence. But it also ensures that we keep joints aligned, so the spine needs to stay straight. We look at making sure the hips stay in a good location, because a lot of these children suffer from something called hip dysplasia, where their hips migrate outwards if we don't ensure good positioning in all of their activities. There is no getting around, it is expensive. It is expensive, but for those who qualify, the NDIS does support all sorts of assistive technology. Many people make use of multiple types of assistive technology. We are keen for children to develop skills such as standing and walking because it's important for their bone development. Bone density and strength only comes with weight bearing. So all children, we try and get to at least spend some of the day standing. That's another topic in terms of equipment for that. But these children, for example, who might use a walker to get around school or to get around the classroom, their gait pattern in the walker uses a lot of energy. that means that they get a lot tireder a lot quicker than their peers. So if we are wanting these children to have enough energy and brain capacity to sit and learn, we need to make sure that they haven't become too tired getting to school, or haven't become too tired simply trying to sit on a classroom chair, and they're using all their energy just to sit, and they're uncomfortable or they're tired. They can't concentrate and learn. So these children, we look at maybe using a wheelchair to go from the car to school, and if possible, they may then use a walker to move around the classroom or the playground, but that for longer distances, they use their wheelchair so they're not too tired. They may use their wheelchair to go on community outings, such as to the shops, to the zoo, anywhere in the community. They might use their wheelchair because the fatigue, the level of energy required for these children to walk is so great. But it is a great advantage if they can do some walking over short distances, or as much as is tolerable. Every child is different, and part of my job is to assess what capacity they have and where do we need to put the changes in. In terms of parents, I guess the role of the parent is to support their child. And as a parent myself, every parent, I think, wants their child to be as successful as they can be. Now, children with a physical disability have an added hurdle to all other children. But it's our role as parents to embrace the technology that is available now, because what's available now is so amazing and can help the children so much with just joining in and being a normal child in the playground, in the school. Yeah, the right technology and the right support from home, and these children go places. They really do. I think for a lot of parents, assistive technology is very confronting in the beginning, particularly for children with quite considerable disability where technology is introduced very early. There is still a great deal of grief and a great deal of fear about their child being in the community and how the community will react to their child. We're fortunate to live in times where disability is not seen as something bad anymore. Rather, all organisations have to include people with disability now. So let's work together. Find a good therapist. Find someone as a parent that you connect with well to support you in selecting the right technology. And that therapist is there to work with you and your child. It's a partnership. It doesn't work with just one or the other. Everyone works together to support, with the goal that the child is as successful and independent as they can be. One more thing that I'd like to mention about, for example, a wheelchair, is how it facilitates a child to be part of their family, and how it facilitates that family to be part of the community. Children who need to use wheelchairs take a lot more looking after many times, and for many people that means that they spend more time at home. They're often more socially isolated, and because of that the family tend to spend more time at home or are more socially isolated. If we can provide a child with suitable assistive technology that allows them to freely go out into the community, the benefit is not just to the child, the benefit is to the family. That family can now go out to a restaurant, that family can now go to the zoo or to the city if they have the right assistive technology to help their child. So it benefits not only the child but the family as well.
Melanie, muy valioso todo esto que nos has contado. Muchísimas gracias por estar hoy aquí con nosotros en Hablando de Discapacidad. Muchas gracias.
My pleasure.